Hello everybody. In today's episode, you'll notice that my co-host Brady 101 is obviously missing. Well, there's a good reason for this. That is that he could not make it this week. However, in case you're missing him, next week he'll be back for another great episode. Without further ado, enjoy the episode. Podcasting from my home in lockdown, where I'll be spending the rest of my life. This is Bored, a podcast where entertain you during your never-ending time at home. And I am your host, Alan 7009. Welcoming the champion go-karter, YouTuber, gamer, and many more. It's F1 fan Liam.
Hello.
Hello. As always, we have a guest on the show, so we like to ask them a few questions. So without further ado, let's get straight into the Q&A. So the first question is, how have you been finding the lockdown?
Good. I think everyone's trying to get through the best way possible.
Have you struggled with it, or have you been fine?
It was fun for the first part, like missing school, and then you get to about week, what are we on now, 12, where it's just a bit
13,
fun.
I think, 13 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I haven't even kept count. Yeah. Okay, right, so on the topic of lockdown, what have you actually been doing to pass your time during lockdown?
Now my go-karting's restarted, which is my main hobby. Like, I was really struggling about it. I'm like, because normally my Sundays is just like, yay, nothing. And now, well, the first 6 weeks that was gone, and then that restarted. So then I had some sort of joy, and then F1's restarted. I'm quite lucky because it's...
Yeah, because all the things that you like have restarted.
Yeah. Whereas people doing rugby, for example, where it's physical, like that's probably still got a while on that till mass gatherings, social distancing probably have to be completely stopped.
Yeah, but they're doing football now, so that's yeah. But without crowds, I feel good for the football fans because now they have a sort of way watch football now.
Yeah.
And since the school year is ending very soon, overall during lockdown, how have you found remote learning?
It's got okay. I enjoy the online lessons just because I feel a lot more happy.
Yeah, it's nice to not be on your own for a difference.
It's nice to have someone talking where you feel lonely just by yourself.
Yeah.
It's my some people probably
but
a bit
do you
more
think
freedom.
there's too much? What about the work? Is there too much or is there too little?
I think it's perfect. Probably the right answer everyone would want me to say is there's too little.
Everyone wants too little, but it's not going to happen in most times. Okay, the next question is, as mentioned, the school year is ending, and my question to you is, what does it feel like to be ending your school year from home?
It feels strange that normally I'd go out, with my friends, just do something after school on the last day, which can't do now.
A lot of people are doing stuff like Zoom goodbyes and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So, the summer holidays are obviously nearby. So, what are you going to be doing to pass your time during the summer holidays? Since lockdown may end just after the summer holidays, or even near the end of the year if we see a new peak.
Whether there'll be a new peak, can't really tell. Like, obviously, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably loads of people looking at that, like they've been locking down certain. But I know holidays sort of looks a bit. No, talking about going somewhere in this country just for a little break, not on holiday.
Like going on a road trip or something during the summer holidays.
Yeah, just on a little. Yeah.
But other than that, will you just continue with your go-karting, or do they stop?
Yeah.
Or do they stop during the summer holidays?
No, that's continuous. Never stop.
That's good. Will you be resuming anything you can't do right now after lockdown, apart from school?
To be honest, I've got everything I already did before. Like, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, apart from
Obviously,
school.
yeah, school's the obvious one, but no hobbies or anything.
Yeah, but you may be looking forward to maybe just being able to sort of meet up with your friends, going out with your
Yeah,
friends and stuff, like actually seeing them. Yeah,
that,
that would
yeah.
be good. Now, as many people may know, the UK government may not necessarily be handling the situation amazingly. They recently announced the opening of swimming pools, leisure centres, and gyms. What are your opinions on this idea?
My view is like everyone's having a go at the government now after everything's done. Like, were they going to get everything correct? No. Like, there was always going to be
No.
some things that were wrong. And now people are going, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you lock down earlier? They didn't know. Boris Johnson was just listening to, he's getting advised because he's not some expert. But I think,
So actually, the Boris Johnson shouldn't have to be blamed. It should be actually the scientific advisors.
I don't think anyone should be blamed. I think it's been dealt. You could say afterwards, oh, they dealt with it better, but you
Oh,
never knew that. What
obviously,
we got.
the UK and American government has obviously dealt with it the
I,
worst,
I
and
don't think.
that's undeniable. Like compared to all the other countries which have dealt with it well, like Italy's managed to go down, but UK
Like,
just continues to still
yeah.
go up, and so does America.
Yeah, you could have said we should have locked down earlier, but no one ever knew whether what we're doing. Everyone took different ways
Yeah.
of locking down early or waiting or.
Yeah. Okay. Now, a lot of people may know you from YouTube, but for those who don't, can you tell us a bit about your channel and what you do on it?
So I upload. I mean, the uploads at the moment are every year because of the 12 subscribers really supporting me, keeping the channel going.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there'll be 1 to 2 episodes of F1 2020 career mode or something.
Ooh, that would be good. Yeah.
I think that would be a record upload.
Yeah. Okay, so since we have heard you enjoy gaming, as in like F1 and all those games, what is your favorite game at the moment?
Well, F1 2020's come out.
Yeah.
I always enjoy the F1 games. They're pretty much
So your favorite games is the F1. So then
Yeah.
I'm guessing that your favorite game at the moment would have to be F1 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only had the game for 5 days now. It's still my first week, but
Yeah.
probably
What have you done on it? Have you done anything interesting, or are you just like
I've just
exploring it
sort of
so far?
They've got a manager career mode in that now, so that was never in the game. Like there was talk of there'd been nothing added because it's the last year of the PlayStation consoles
Yes.
until next year.
Yes.
So I'm quite happy with it.
Yes. And a bonus question is, with the F1 games, how long have you been playing F1?
Well, I started playing the F1 games in 2016. I got F1 2016 on the controller I used to play that on. That was interesting.
What about the Wii game?
Right, the Wii, F1 2009.
Yes.
I used to play that when I was like 7. And my parents had a Wii, and I used to play that. I was really good at Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah. I used to play Mario Kart on the Wii.
I used to just... Yeah, in primary school, they had DSs, and we'd all go on Mario Kart, like the holiday club sometimes.
Yeah, Mario Kart is a really good game. It's just a classic. Okay, now, we've heard your favourite, but what is your least favourite game at the moment?
At the moment, I haven't got a least favourite game. Like, Fortnite's on the decline. You can't really call it a bad game for when I've been playing it. Everyone's been playing it for 2 years. I don't play it when I played it.
But if you had to pick a game that's your least favourite, you still like it, but it's your least favourite, what would it be? Putting you on pressure here.
I don't dislike a game. I'll just say Rocket League. You and I play it. Like, the worst game I ever played, though, was Goat Simulator. I don't know whether you ever played that. It was one of the PlayStation Plus games.
Yeah.
It was like, £7 on the PlayStation Store, and they gave it as a free game.
What is Goat Simulator about, then?
I mean, you're a goat, and you just adventure. And there's not much to it.
Okay. Right, and for the final question, how do you feel about the death of Leeds football legend Jack Charlton?
To be honest, I don't know much about him. I mean, it's obviously sad he's died, and don't really need to say that.
He was there when he was on the English team when they won the World Cup in '66, I think.
obviously quite good. I don't know much about him, so I can't really.
Yeah.
Probably some really massive football fans who are probably screaming at me at the moment that I know nothing about him.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, right now that's the Q&A over. Thank you for answering those questions, and we will see you after the break. Welcome back to Bored, the podcast where we are obviously bored. Now, on this week's episode, obviously, since Brady has left us, I am going to be hosting the Fact of the Day for the first ever time in the history of Bored. Now, This is a very interesting fact. Obviously, all of us love Los Angeles, the biggest town, well, an amazing town in America. Now, this week's fact is that the entire world's population, 7.5 billion people, could fit inside Los Angeles. That's one place in the world that could fit every single person. Obviously, they'd be, I think, tight together, but you could fit everyone. Now, moving on to the specialty of today's episode, since we have F1 fan Liam with it says it in his name, the F1 fan, we're going to be talking about F1 because it's the new, because it's just started, and I'm also a fan of F1, and yeah, let's go. So, first, we're going to talk about
Where
the
this
podium.
episode turned from 40 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, here we go. This will take ages. Here we go. Okay, so first, you take ahead the first conversation. You lead it.
So, I mean, if you didn't see the Austrian Grand Prix from last weekend, I mean, I don't know what you were doing. Like, I don't know whether the football was on, but you were watching the wrong thing, clearly. So, Lando Norris took a podium. I mean,
Which
McLaren
was amazing. McLaren,
I know.
I think so. McLaren are very, very good to have Lando Norris get the podium because he's a good driver. He's a good driver. But to be honest, the only reason he got the podium was because of Lewis Hamilton's penalty. If Lewis Hamilton hadn't got that penalty, he'd be in second next to Bottas.
But my view on that incident was between Albon and him. Like,
yeah.
I just don't see. Like, normally I'd say, yeah, that's clearly that guy's fault. But like, I didn't see what Hamilton could have done. He understeered into him. I don't like Hamilton couldn't do anything about it, so he just turned into the corner. Obviously, Albon's on soft tyres, so he had quicker tyre. His car's good. Mercedes having gearbox issues the whole race as well.
I love the new colour for Mercedes though. Let's talk on that quickly before you move on. Back to the other thing. Mercedes' new colour. Oh my god, I love that black compared to the silver.
Obviously, the silver has history. It was what they used to have. They used to run.
Yeah, and I think the gearbox problems was unfortunate because I think Bottas, even though he came first, without those gearbox problems, he could have got a way better time. Like I'm saying, like he got 140, I think, something near that. But he came first, but I mean, his lap times could have been a lot quicker if he hadn't had those gearbox problems.
Yeah, in the race though,
because Mercedes are obviously known for their cars and their drivers, especially Hamilton. He did well. He came, I think, was it 5th or 6th? Considering that penalty, any racer with a penalty would have gone down. But because he's so good and without the penalty was in second, he didn't actually do bad.
You can't say he had a dominant car. Like, he is a 6-time world champion. He's obviously he's going to equal Schumacher this year if he can win the world championship. Yeah. Schumacher's 7, he's on 6. He's got the most pole positions out of anybody. So most first.
And the thing is though, he's so young. How does he do it? He's done it so quickly. He just went.
Hamilton is now, I think he's 34. I don't even know his exact age. But he'll stay in the sport till he keeps winning.
Yeah, he'll be known as a legend. He's one of the best ever racers.
Yeah, on stats.
Speaking on Hamilton, we are going to move on to continue our discussion on F1, and I have something to bring up, which is Vettel's performance.
I mean, everyone's saying Vettel.
It was poor. It was poor.
You can't ignore Vettel is a 4-time world champion. His teammate is a good driver. His teammate's phenomenal. He's out there. He's in my top 3 drivers. He's brilliant. Vettel isn't a bad driver. You can't.
I think a reason for Vettel's failure was actually Ferrari's car.
Ferrari this season, like, it's one of the worst cars they've probably ever. If we go back to qualifying, Leclerc 7th and Vettel 11th.
Oh my God.
Vettel didn't get into the Q3. He didn't get into the third qualifying session.
I expected so much better from their car this year. I actually expected it to be the best, but it was one of the worst. It was actually one of the worst.
The thing is, their car is actually worse than last year's, because last year, their engine, I don't know the exact thing, but they were something to do with oil burning in the engine. So they were going about 10 miles per hour quicker than Mercedes in a straight line. So basically cheating.
Yes, but they've done something.
Their engine is about, 15 kilometres per hour slower on a straight line.
Yes.
So that's probably why.
Yes. Now, we have a new competitor joining, which is Williams Racing. Did you see them?
They were actually noticeable.
They were noticeable. They were not bad. I'll give that to them. It's not that they didn't do amazing, but they were not bad.
Like, we go back to today, the heavy wet, when this episode will be after the race, I'm pretty sure. But if go back to qualifying, it was heavy wet for this weekend race.
Yeah.
P12, he qualified in 12th place for Russell. His teammate was in 18th, but P12. We're saying that's the worst car on the grid still. They're closer. It's not as bad as last year's car was, an absolute write-off. But P12, well done to Russell. He's a Mercedes junior. He's linked to their driver academy. Probably will take over the seat. Bottas, apparently, everyone says every year, Bottas is going to leave the contract. But I don't see why Bottas should leave. He's doing a solid job.
Mercedes are paying him well. He's doing a solid job.
Yeah, Leclerc came in and just straight away, Vettel's number one. Leclerc's number 2 at the start of the season. Team orders literally every race, and then Leclerc, and you've literally, I'm not going to say ruined Vettel's career, but you made him just without a seat for 2021 and onwards. Where could he be going?
No, I was going to say, that's true. His career has just gone down. It's just gone down. Because
news this
it's
week.
not that he's a bad racer. It's just all the other racers are better at this point. Obviously, Vettel versus Hamilton, the ongoing thing. I think Mercedes are Ferrari are sort of people are saying that Ferrari are lazy because they can't be bothered to help him anymore because he's. But that just doesn't make sense, because if he wins, Ferrari get a lot of the.
Look, obviously, Leclerc's Ferrari's long-term future. They've got a contract with him until 2024. He is committed to long-term with the team. They're going to win championships. There is hope. Same with Verstappen in Red Bull, Norris with McLaren, whatever. McLaren have been on the up, and Mercedes will probably be Russell.
I don't think McLaren will want to ditch Lando Norris. This is the peak of his career. If his first podium. I can see him going for big things now with McLaren, because McLaren actually have some of the best cars out there and the best racers.
Obviously,
I'm saying they're in Mercedes level. They're like Mercedes level, because
they're still McLaren have been on the up. If you go back to when it's McLaren, Honda, Jenson Button, that was 2016, 2017. Their car was 8th fastest since 2019, 4th fastest. Now you could say Ferrari were 5th fastest in qualifying, from when you haven't got this top 3 anymore in F1. You've got this top 2. Let's say Mercedes and Red Bull. They've got a clear advantage over everyone else. But then you've got McLaren, Racing Point, Renault, Alpha Tauri. You've got this really good midfield fight, which has got closer, even though from last year it was close. Yeah, but Vettel's career though onwards, where is he going to go? Alonso announced this week. Alonso to Renault.
I just still don't get why he'd want to leave Ferrari. I don't get it.
He didn't have a choice. He didn't get offered a contract.
He didn't he didn't want to leave, but.
What's weird is Mattia Binotto, who's the manager of Ferrari, of their drivers, he said, Vettel would have been my number 1 choice to stay at the team.
I don't get why they get rid of Vettel.
You ask the question, why did you not offer him a contract if he was your number 1 option? And obviously Norris's teammate McLaren signs he's going to Ferrari. That's a big move for him. He's been messed about so much. He was part of the Red Bull driver academy. He was messed around so much. Promised the Red Bull seat at one point. in the Toro Rosso. Just never happened for him. Then he went to Renault. That didn't work out for him either. So then he had to go to McLaren. And he's been driving them in McLaren.
I do not get why he's going to move to Ferrari from McLaren, if I'm honest, because considering how well they're doing now, I wouldn't see the need.
You could end up in the same situation I'm with Vettel and Leclerc.
Exactly.
They could clash. You've got two brilliant drivers together, like go Vettel and Raikkonen, and then you had a clear number 1 and 2, which Ferrari always like.
Exactly.
One driver number 1, one driver to back them up. Like
that's their style. That's their style of racing.
Mercedes, but they manage their drivers very well.
Mercedes don't really care because they know it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, you can. Bottas isn't a bad driver. You can't say he's definitely
He's good. He came first.
Everyone can say in qualifying, he went off the track to stop Hamilton qualifying in the first qualifying session, like when he went off the track and Hamilton couldn't do his lap thing. But he still took pole position.
Yes, yeah. You know what? Hamilton before we move on, I want to say first, did you listen to Verstappen's team radio?
When?
Right, listen. So I think it was when him and Hamilton clashed on the track.
Albon. Verstappen retired. He had the engine issue, didn't he?
Yeah. But they clashed at some point in the race, and I think he said, Hamilton's a sore loser.
No, that was Albon.
Albon.
When he got hit. Yeah, I mean, again, I would have said it was a racing incident. I can see why they gave the 5-second penalty, but I just don't see what they could have done.
I just laughed when I heard the sore loser remark.
Like, the thing is, Austria is such an easy track to overtake. It's just straight. It's easy. Why did he have to risk the move? Like, he could have got him another lap just up the inside.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very stupid move. It was very stupid.
When you race, like when I go kart, I always look for the inside move. You don't go for this outrageous.
That is something that any normal person would do. Just trying to focus on overtaking them, not even focusing on the way you're going to go. Just focusing on I'm going to overtake him no matter what. But it backfired. Now talking about backfiring, Red Bull, an embarrassment on their own track.
Yeah, obviously it's the Red Bull ring. They've bought the track pretty much, like Ferrari own tons of tracks in Italy. They have their own test track pretty much. Yeah, they do. So Verstappen engine issue. I don't even know. They haven't really said what it was. It was
I think it was an engine issue.
He changed it might be gearbox, I'm not completely sure. He changed something on his steering wheel and the car went anti-stall, which is pretty much nothing is working. It's when you start the race and then you rev it too high on the grid and that happens, which then he completely lost power, so then he had to retire. I mean, there was 9 cars out of that's nearly half the grid out that race. Like, run through them. Raikkonen's tyre came off. That was confirmed.
I've honestly never seen a tyre come off in F1.
The thing is, when a tyre comes off, if there's an accident, the FIA do crash tests and everything. There's Tev holding the wheels on now because you used to have tyres coming off in crashes and they did like that. So in the event of an accident, you'll never see a tyre come off normally. That was just, it wasn't on properly. So they couldn't really do much about that.
Okay, right. Moving on to another topic, completely different. Can we talk about Mercedes' efficiency in the pit? Right.
I mean,
there was that one point when Hamilton and Bottas were both coming in. Hamilton comes in.
The double stack.
Yeah, Hamilton comes in. They change his tyres so quickly that Bottas can continue at the max speed in the pit just to continue. He doesn't even have to stop behind Hamilton. And I think it's actually amazing how efficient Mercedes is. I have a feeling, obviously, with Hamilton, they have a good chance of winning again this season.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, Bottas, he wants to win the championship. He needs to be consistent.
He needs to be consistent.
Hamilton in the first half of the year, in my opinion, Hamilton in the second half of the year is ridiculous. He'll win everything.
In the first half, he likes to keep it calm and slow and just get back up points.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, he just goes ham. He just goes like everything.
2015, where you had Hamilton and Rosberg. I know Rosberg won the championship, but in the first half of the year, Hamilton, Rosberg won the first 4 races. You had where they clashed in Spain, and then Hamilton won in Monaco in the wet, and then Rosberg won a few, and then Hamilton in the second half of the season just won everything. and then Rosberg just held on to it. Like, that's what Bottas has to do. He needs to start winning early and match Hamilton. He can do it.
I agree. He has the ability to do it. I completely agree.
Like, Hamilton last season, the last 7 races, Hamilton won 6 of them. Like, I'm pretty sure it was something like that. It was something ridiculous like that. And then Bottas, no, he had no chance of matching.
Now, before we move on, I'm talking about the future for, even though we talked about this before, I want to expand on it. The future for McLaren.
I mean, it has been confirmed. Like, they are struggling for money, obviously, everything that's been going on.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not good.
I mean, they will find investments like Williams, probably because of their history in the sport and their massive, like.
And I think because of this podium now, people will be willing to invest in McLaren.
I think everyone was already willing to do that because of how they.
But this just adds on to the reason to invest.
They could have both retired and still probably would have happened. But I think McLaren have got that sorted. Like, I can't see them struggling. Like, we've got Aston Martin coming into the sport next season.
I'm excited to see what they have to offer in terms of their cars. Like, they're known obviously for. I've seen them race before. They're normal cars which people can drive in, not F1 cars. They're good. Aston Martin, obviously, well known, and I think when they come into the F1 season, they'll have a good few drivers along with a good car to go with it.
With the F1 season, it's literally going to be a European season at the moment because we've had 10 rounds confirmed. We had another 2 about 2 days ago. So of it, we're having these 2 rounds in Austria, 1 in Hungary, and then we've got 2 rounds at Silverstone, 1 in Spain, Belgium, Italy. And we got another Italian Grand Prix that was confirmed at another track, and then we got Russia. So, I mean, I think the FIA have said they're going to do all of Europe pretty much. And then we're going to move to, like, Middle East, so Abu Dhabi, Bahrain. China is even getting talked about, like...
Ooh, I don't know. That's a risky move.
We could get the Vietnam Grand Prix. There's 2 races. We've got Vietnam, China, but all of them could be.
Right. So, we're definitely not close to finishing this talk, but I want to talk about skip to the end quickly and then come back.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to win the champion this season? Sorry.
I mean, Hamilton's the favourite. I mean, I don't see Ferrari. Ferrari just have to maximise their points and pretty much hope at this point.
I mean, they could make a comeback.
They have upgrades. They bought this year. They were going to bring them for Hungary, but they fast-tracked them to here.
Yeah, we've seen. I saw the new upgrades on the Ferrari car. They're good. Now they've seen where they need to improve from that race, and they're going to try and integrate that. And hopefully, Vettel's performance can be slightly more up to his standards.
In the first qualifying in the dry, though, for the first Grand Prix, they were a second off pole position, Leclerc, and Vettel was even more. Like, these upgrades aren't going to absolutely revolutionise Ferrari and put them at the top. Mercedes...
It will obviously at least get them into pole position.
Like, you saw Vettel in... I don't think they'll be anywhere near it. Like, these upgrades, they were estimated at about 3 to 4 tenths, even up to half a second if lucky. Like, they're still not going to be up there. They need that again. They can't afford to lose points till they get an equal car with them. Like, Ferrari will chuck a load of money at it because they have it, which midfield teams can't do.
To be honest, for the championship, I've got my thing on Bottas, Hamilton.
You're saying Bottas?
Bottas, yeah. Ooh, controversial.
Bottas.
I'm
going to disagree.
I know you're going to disagree. I'm saying Bottas. Or Bottas, or whatever you want to call him. Bottas, Hamilton, or Norris. Lando Norris.
Oh my, no, McLaren are still behind. Like, yeah,
they're behind, but I believe in Lando Norris. I believe in him.
Yeah, McLaren need to really improve their car.
No, I think I'm not saying he has a very good chance. He doesn't have a great chance, but I think after this podium, McLaren are really going to up their game now because they've seen what potential they're trying
to upgrade their car. Like, I mean, if they don't just chuck a load of money in, you get time on your car. Like, they have to find it. Like, Mercedes have this moving steel, DAS it's called, where they can warm up the tyres more. It's not believed as a basically they've got a moving suspension. They can warm up the tyres depending on the toe of their front wheels. It's quite clever. They've obviously been protested against that by Red Bull, and I mean, basically it's got to be banned at the end of this year. Which, I mean, it's a clever thing from Mercedes, but they're not actually going. If they took that off the car, they'd still be number one. Like,
Doesn't
they'd still be
matter.
the top.
They're just
Yeah,
complaining because they lose. They're just complaining because they lose.
I mean, Red Bull aren't losing. They've got a good enough car to challenge them. Like, Albon could have maybe challenged for the win because he was on quicker tyres than both.
I mean, like, because they've lost in the past. I mean, they and Mercedes are just too good. Hamilton is just too good.
Red Bull are a championship-winning team. They did win.
Obviously, I'm not saying that they've.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but Mercedes win a lot compared to Red Bull.
Yeah,
Red Bull do well. Red Bull do well, but so do Mercedes, and that's why people want this thing removed, because they think if Hamilton's going to win again, which is a very high chance, and they don't want that really.
Yeah, this moving it gives them a massive advantage in qualifying, warming up the tyres, because they don't have to manually warm. They can just pull the steering wheel in and out. It's very, like, I wouldn't like a moving steering wheel. Just the thought of that, and they're going like 200 miles per hour and moving it about on the straight. It's a bit weird.
Now, before we move on, we've seen a lot of cars, a lot of the same companies and racing companies basically doing the same. It's got Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo have not been doing well in F1 this season. Like, their car just look. They haven't shown.
I don't like the car at all.
They showed no pace. Like, they have the drivers to do it. Like, they have Giovinazzi, he's a Ferrari junior, and you've got Raikkonen, who's won a world championship. They're able to take that car high, but I mean, I don't think they've been given the car to do that. And obviously, they got out-qualified by Williams in the first qualifying and in the wet. So, yeah. Right. Giovinazzi had a crash in the wet in the qualifying. It was just breaking the rear wing, but apart from that, yeah, they just haven't been.
Yeah, okay, so who else have we got? We've got Alfa Romeo and who else have we got?
Renault.
Yes, Renault.
They announced Fernando Alonso coming to the team. Big name. He won 2 world championships with them.
Yes, I think that's a big step. I think that's a really risky step, though, for Renault.
My thing is, like,
because it could go horribly wrong for Renault, or it could go very well.
But Alonso is a quality driver. Like, he won 2 world championships with them. He'll get on well with the team. And Renault need this star driver. Like, Ocon is good, but they need this. They need
this sort of driver.
Ricardo,
yeah.
Someone to replace Ricardo, big name like Alonso.
Yeah.
But my problem is, Alonso is 40 years old, which is quite old for F1. Like, with all the young drivers coming in, 40. Like, Raikkonen's 41. That's the oldest we have, and he's committed to them long term. I think it's a bit of a risk. He is a star driver.
Okay, right. So we're not going to bore you any longer with our F1 talk. However, before we move on, we have to talk about our predictions for this weekend. The date is 11th of July. Now, what are your predictions for the F1 tomorrow?
Again, if the race goes how we had it last weekend, I don't know how you could predict it.
I'm thinking Mercedes will I think one of the Mercedes drivers, Hamilton or Bottas, will be
it's
in the podium.
We're not going to have torrential rain like they had today, and Hamilton.
I think one of them will be in the podium. One of the Mercedes drivers.
Mercedes, as long as they have no reliability.
I'm hoping that Lando Norris does a even better performance tomorrow.
Speaking of Norris, in the first practice session, there was a yellow flag, and he got a free-place grid penalty for overtaking under yellow flags. Yellow flags mean you have to slow down because of an incident ahead, and he
overtook it.
He overtook, yeah. So I forgot where he qualified. Sainz was 3rd. He was around 5th or 6th, so he'll start 8th, 9th, compared to where he started.
And finally, tomorrow, I'm excited to see what Ferrari has to offer. If they can prove themselves tomorrow, I will see. If they can prove themselves tomorrow, I will see that. I'll see that maybe they do have a chance, but if they do the exact same poor performance tomorrow,
it's like Leclerc's put second place in the last week. I mean, they didn't deserve it. He drove well, but outperforming the car, both of them probably. Even Vettel's probably outperforming that car.
And honestly, I can't wait to see a lot of the car makers. Like, I can't wait to see whether Red Bull mess up again, or because they're a good team with good races, and I want to see what they have to offer tomorrow.
It was a massive risk back in last year. They went for Honda, who go back to the McLaren, where they were just at the back. And I remember when I went to Silverstone in 2017, you heard every car engine, and then you heard the McLaren Honda. Sounded horrible. It sounded like it was a massive mess between this petrol, and you just heard this really squeaky, like, electric noise. I'm not going to moan about electric cars and I hate them.
Let's not go into this, because we all know that E1 is better than F1. I'm joking. But I think
they do. They have eight manufacturers in that, not just private teams. Whereas F1 has, think about it, 4, going to be 5. Like, they have done well for that, and this is their 6th season for Formula E. Like, I watched the race. It's just the noise, like. That was probably a really bad.
Now, there was a long segment. That was a long segment of the podcast for this week. But I feel like maybe we needed to have this discussion, because F1's back, and a lot of us like F1, so we need to talk about it. Right. Now, obviously, we're doing this podcast from our homes because of coronavirus, COVID-19. And obviously, this week, all of our key workers are still out there working hard to control the virus. And we've also got the ongoing Black Lives Matter movement, where if you can do anything, just do it, because I feel like that would definitely help a lot of people. And I think this week we're going to be having another minute of silence for our key workers, and to send a message out for Black Lives Matter. We are done now. That has been this week's episode of Board episode 7. Thank you so much to F1 fans.
We've forgotten to answer the question of everyone's probably wanting to ask: when will Liam get his haircut? It's a vital question.
That is true. And me too.
In the future.
When am I going to get a haircut?
That's why he's wearing a hat.
The vital question for me is the answer tomorrow. So next week of Ford, see me with new hair.
Don't miss the Grand Prix.
Don't miss it. Make sure everyone's watching the F1 Championship tomorrow. Not championship, but race. You know what I mean? Make sure you go check out on guest F1 fan Liam on his YouTube. Give him a sub.
See if we can get to 15 subscribers.
15 subscribers. Big goals. And if you enjoy this
likes
podcast,
on the video.
Make sure you like this video. Dislike if you didn't. Nope, no dislikes actually. I am not allowing dislikes. And make sure you subscribe to me, your host, if you'd like to. You can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. Leave us a review on iTunes that would really help. And we'll see you next week for next week's episode, which is I'm not telling you. Ha. Thank you. Bye.